Good morning, everyone. My name is Eb Grant, Fleet Supervisor, Mass East. And our safety topic for today is heat injuries. Okay, heat injuries is basically the umbrella term for a host of other injuries caused by the heat. Okay, let me share my screen. Give me a second. Here we go. Okay, heat injuries. This is a list from mild to most severe. So first you have heat rash, sunburn, heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and the worst of all heat injuries, heat stroke. We're gonna start with heat rash. Heat rash. So what is heat rash? Heat rash, just as the name implies, is skin irritation caused by excessive sweating during hot and humid weather. What are some of the symptoms? Usually clusters or small blisters that look like pimples on the skin, usually on the neck area, chest, groin, elbow creases, and sometimes behind the knee. So, what do you do when you get a heat rash? You want to stay in a cool, dry place. You want to keep the rash dry. Do not cover it with moisturizers or ointment. You want to use powder like baby powder to soothe the rash. Next up is sunburn. I think sunburn is probably the most common of all heat injuries, and I think we've all experienced sunburn at some point in our lives. Basically caused by spending too much time in the sun without wearing sunscreen. Okay, National Cancer Institute recommends SPF 15 or higher. All right, so SPF, what does that stand for? SPF stands for sun protection factor, and the number 15, because you see, SPF 15, SPF 30, and so on and so on. So the number after the SPF basically means that without the sunscreen, it'll take 15 minutes before the sun starts burning your skin. Okay? If it's 30, it means it'll take 30 minutes before the sun starts burning your skin if you didn't have the protection. Alright, not only can you get sunburn on your skin, but your eyes can also get sunburn as well. When this happens, your eyes get red, they get itchy, and very greedy to feel like you got sand in your eyes. So what do you look for? Painful, warm, red, tender skin. You have blisters on the skin. Sometimes they bubble up. I'm sure we're all familiar with that. Your skin is swollen, your headache, fatigue. It's just miserable. So what do you do? What's the first aid? First you want to stay out of the sun until your sunburn heals. You want to put cool cloths, soak something like a towel, soak it in cool water and put it on the sunburned areas, or take a cool bath to kind of soothe the pain. You want to put moisturizing lotions on the sunburned area. Do not break open or pop the blisters. When you do that, you're opening yourself up to infections. You can use hydrocortisone cream in reducing pain and promote healing. Next up is heat cramps. Heat cramps is caused by profuse sweating that depletes the body's salt and moisture levels. It usually happens when you're out there in the sun. You wanna, you know, the beach weather is around the corner, so you decide that you want to run 10 miles and you're not used to it. You're gonna lose moisture and salt in your body. and then you're gonna get heat cramps. Usually from the symptoms are like heavy sweating during intense exercise, muscle pain or spasms in the abdomen. You get this tightness in your gut. I know how it feels, and it hurts. Muscle pain, arms, legs, and it's usually in your calf muscle. I don't know why, but that seems to be a common place of cramps. Yeah, usually your abs, your thighs, and your calves. I've never gotten any in my arms, but hey, it can happen. So what do you do? What's the first aid? First thing you want to do is stop the physical activity and move to a cool place. You want to drink plenty of water or sports drink, i.e. Gatorade, etc., preferably sugar-free. You want to wait for the cramps to go away before resuming physical activity. You want to get medical attention immediately if A, your cramps last longer than 1 hour, B, you are on a low sodium diet, 3, you have heart problems. Next up is heat exhaustion, just as the name implies. Exhaustion, tired, fatigue, usually caused by excessive loss of salt and water in the body through excessive sweating. Basically, you're sweating yourself to death. And what are some of the symptoms to look for? It's usually accompanied by heavy sweating, cold, pale, and clammy skin, fast or weak pulse. Your body's either your heart's trying to cool you down, or it's to the point where it's like, oh, I can't cool you down anymore. Um, your nausea, you're vomiting, you have muscle cramps, fatigue, weakness, you're just tired, dizziness, you have headache, you're fainting, passing out, which is another heat exhaustion symptom. Basically, they call it heat syncope. Basically, when you decide that you want to go out there in an environment that you're not used to. For example, you work in the office and then it's 90 degrees out. You decide you want to go out there, excuse me, and do yard work. You want to go out there and run 10 miles, who knows? And your body's not used to it, and you're going to pass out. You're going to pass out. So, first aid, what do? You want to move to a cool place. You want to loosen the clothes, to facilitate the cooling. You want to sip water or a sports drink, preferably sugar free. You want to get medical attention immediately if 1, you start throwing up, 2, you're not feeling any better, it's getting worse, and 3, your symptoms last longer than 1 hour. Go to the hospital, get some help. And last but not least, the granddaddy of them all is the heat stroke. Heat stroke. Now, this here is code red. It's the most serious heat injuries occurs when the body is unable to control its temperature. The body's temperature rises rapidly, the sweating mechanism fails, and the body is unable to cool down. The body's temperature can rise to 106 degrees or higher within 10 to 15 minutes. That's fast, guys. This can get ugly real fast. This is why it's an emergency. It's a medical emergency. By the time you get to this point, you're gonna start experiencing organ failure. Things your systems are gonna start shutting down. And the result can be permanent disability or death. Permanent disability or death. This is no joke. So what do you look for? Symptoms. It's accompanied by high body temperature, usually above 103 degrees. Your skin is damp, dry, red, and hot. Your heartbeat, you have a fast, strong pulse. Your heart is trying to keep up, right? To keep your organs alive, and it's beating fast. You nausea, you're confused, you don't know where you are, you don't know your name, you have signs of confusion, dizziness, slurred vision, dizziness, headache, and loss of consciousness. You can start blacking out. You can start blacking out. And that's usually a sign of you not getting oxygen to your brain. So what do? Call 911 ASAP. Call 911 ASAP. A heat stroke is a medical emergency. You want to move the person to a cooler place, help lower the person's temperature with cool gloves or a bath or a cool bath, circulate air to speed up cooling. If you got a fan, put it in front of them. Stay until emergency medical service arrives. You want to stay with them in case, you know, it's not a whole lot you can do, but sometimes just being there and being company with somebody who's going through something like this can help them pull through. Okay. So I have this quick video right here I would like to share.
No one should die from a heat wave. But every year, high temperatures kill more people than hurricanes, lightning, tornadoes, earthquakes, and floods combined. You can prevent heat-related deaths. As temperatures rise, stay cool by going to an air-conditioned place and wearing light, loose clothing. Stay hydrated by drinking more water than usual and avoiding drinks with alcohol, caffeine, or carbonation. And stay informed by tuning into heat alerts in your area and watching for symptoms like muscle cramping, heavy sweating, weakness, rapid heartbeat, nausea, or fainting. Extreme heat can affect anyone, but older adults, young children, and people with chronic medical conditions are most at risk. CDC has free resources to help people protect themselves from heat-related illnesses and deaths. For example, we have downloadable materials for businesses and an online course for coaches and athletes. We hope you use these guides to teach yourself and others the symptoms of heat-related illness. This summer, learn how to stay cool, stay hydrated, and stay informed.
Okay. You want to stay cool, stay hydrated, and stay informed. If you're drinking because you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. All right. You want to sip water. You always want to have water nearby. Just sip every 15 minutes. You don't have to gulp the whole thing. Just sip, sip. And if your pee is yellow to dark yellow, you're already dehydrated. It should be, light yellow to almost clear. That's a clear indicator that you're hydrated enough. Last but not least, I know some of you folks are really big animal lovers, and your animals can also get heat injuries. So make sure your pets are well hydrated, especially some animals do not have heat glands. They can't perspire like us, which is how we cool down. So make sure you're watching your pets. Make sure, if they're acting funny, then something is going on. And also, you have to police yourself. You are the first person to know when something's wrong. You know when something's wrong. So, when something's wrong, pay attention, whether it's a sunburn, heat rash, heat exhaustion, all these things lead up to heat stroke. By the time you shouldn't get to heat stroke. It's like your vehicle having the check engine light on. It comes on before engine failure, right? So when you see these symptoms, Pay attention. Do something about it. Don't keep going, or you're gonna end up in a place you don't want to be. Okay? Thank you, thank you, and thank you.